you can count on.
Look to some memories that you had with your grandparents. They certainly have a special place in all of our lives. They help form us into who we will become. Making those memories, though, sometimes cannot always be just a matter of rote course. Sometimes as the grandparent, you can really put some thought into what you're going to do with your grandchildren. We are so happy this morning to have Zelma Lansford join us. She herself is a grandparent, but as she pointed out to me, she also has a lot of children that she's kind of collected over the years as an educator, and she's written a book called Grandparents Are Making Memories. Great to see you this morning, Zelma.
Thank you, Julie. My pleasure.
I'm thrilled to have you. Maybe I misspoke, but I gather from the book that what you're wanting to do is to get grandparents to really purposefully think about the role they play in their children's lives and kind of approach that relationship with some thought.
Absolutely. Grandparents can be so much more influential than sometimes we realize. We tend to think of the grandparent role too much as childcare and providing treats and indulgences. But we can really use our experiences and what we have done and seen to be very influential in the grandchildren's lives.
I mentioned your years as an educator. You began as the head of the choral department at Ottawa High School, right?
Yes, and after teaching high school, I spent a decade as head of St. Nicholas School. And that's a really good experience, a good example of how we never know what it is we're doing at the moment, how important it can become. When I was at St. Nicholas teaching John Meacham how to write, literally how to form the letters of the alphabet, when he was this cute, bubbly little 4-year-old, I had no way of knowing that he'd grow up to be a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. Mm-hmm. And when I was scrambling around to find the right geometry book for young Walter Smith, there was no way to know that he would become the vice president of tech for a Fortune 100 company, or the little girl who always had a bag of art materials and needlework, that she'd grow up to create artworks that would sell over 6 figures numbers. So we don't know what it is we can't predict, but what we can do is really provide the experiences and the encouragement and really build that child's confidence and help to nurture them.
So let's pause there a second, because then after you left St. Nicholas, you transitioned into corporate America a little bit. I might not have the timeline here exactly, but you got some further education, and then you kind of picked up on the psychology part of your brain, because as an educator, that's part of what you are. You're observing, as you mentioned, those 3 children that grew up to great professional adults. As a grandparent, your life can be a bit more steady. You don't have the daily grind of putting dinner on the table and making sure the clothes are washed. So you can observe the intricacies of your grandchildren's personality in a way their parents might not be able to, right?
Right, absolutely. And sometimes we underestimate the importance of what we really can do. So my thing is take every opportunity to be influential.
So I guess there are probably a lot of grandparents right now watching you thinking, I wish I had the nerve to say certain things or enter a conversation this way, but they don't want to offend their children or their sons and daughters-in-law. So is there something that you would recommend they do to bridge that conversation successfully?
Family relationships are really so critically important, and the communication is really critical to making that work. So we have to be sometimes more diplomatic than might come naturally to us. But it's important to always remember that we're the grown-up. So we overlook a lot of the little things. We don't get offended if the grandchild doesn't call us when we expect or isn't compliant, because these children are growing up in such a very different world from what some of us seniors grew up in.
Right.
So,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I have about 2 minutes left. One, I want to let our audience know that they can purchase the book here locally at Big Elephant Books on Highway 58, but it's also available on Amazon, right?
right?
And I think you were sharing with me real quickly that you kind of got inspired to write the book while you were having lunch at Bluffview one day.
Yes, the real inspiration came from when I was working with Julie Baumgartner at First Things First, and they had the full array of relationship courses, but they didn't have anything for grandparents. So I wanted to develop something that they could use. But then the pandemic came along, all of their courses went online, so that wasn't appropriate. But I'd put too much into the effort and the research. So I kept on with the book. And Julie, it's also available on Apple iBooks, and it's cheaper there.
The educator, she wants to make sure you know the best way to get your hands on the book.
Right.
And is it formatted, I've got about 30 seconds, as just chapters and kind of vignettes of your own experiences, or is it more advice driven?
It's really a conversation among grandparents, and it's really intended it's not just for young grandparents, first-time grandparents, but all the way through. One of my big things is how can we as grandparents be influential and keep our grandchildren from becoming vulnerable to drugs and alcohol. So it's all about, yes, we provide the feel-goods when they're young, but how to help them learn to make their own feel good so they're not vulnerable.
Also might be good for the parents to read too, to be reminded of the importance of the role that those grandparents play. Zelma, thank you so very much for your time this morning.
My pleasure.
Again, the book is called Grandparents Are Making Memories. It's available on Amazon, Apple, what did you say?
iBooks,
Apple
or digital
iBooks.
reader.
Or Big Elephant Books, and support Dana Hansen over there at her mom and pop store. We're back after this. Thanks again.
Thank you.
More local stories from across the Tennessee Valley. Local 3 News. Coverage you can count on.
Don't let back or neck pain get in your way. Surgery or pain medications aren't the only options. Chattanooga Non-Surgical Orthopedics Back Program could be the answer for you.
I've been in construction all of my life. I had chronic neck, low back and shoulder pain. Days from surgery, I was told to go and see Dr. Hall. I did. I got my life back and I'm back at work.
Visit our website, cnsorthopedics.com, or call 423-499-0003 and get your life back.
At Jack's, everything is made with a dedication to Southern flavor, starting with never frozen, always fresh chicken fingers with fries, and our new cherry fried pie. That's just more to love. Jack's, all about the South.
Are you tired of constantly maintaining that old wood deck? If so, it's time to call Chattanooga Exteriors and let us help you say goodbye to staining and splinters. We are the area's largest installer of Trex decking and have been awarded the Trex Platinum Award. We can help guide you through the process from concept to completion. Call us today and receive no payments or interest for 1 full year. Choose the best.